All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Well, good evening, and welcome to the All Sports All Plays Network. This your boy Freddie Henderson, to be the moderator tonight. Got my brother next to me from Southern California, Jonathan Matthews. What's going on, John?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How's everyone doing on this panel? It's great to be here. You know, I love talking sports. It's always a lot of fun, Freddie. And Art, man, great times. Let's do it. There's plenty to talk about. You know, next week is the big game. It's a marquee event. It's the Super Bowl. And, I mean, we got a lot to talk about from NFL to NBA. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. And we got Big Art down there, our version, ASAP's version of Big Kendrick Perkins. What's going on, Art?
Not much, boy. Glad to be here, goddamn. It's been a minute.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Let's get it. You know, yesterday, we all know the situation with the brianflores that's going on in the NFL. Okay, we've been talking about it all week. Yesterday, Brian Leftwich has been, talking about trying to get a job with the Jacksonville Jaguars. What's up, Tristan?
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
He's been trying to get a job with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But we all know what happened with that. He wanted to bring in, he didn't want to work with the general manager that's already in place. So he basically told them the only way that I'll come is if you get rid of the general manager that's in place now. Well, they decided to go elsewhere. They decided to hire Doug Peterson. Granted, Doug Peterson is a championship caliber coach. He has won a Super Bowl. So it's not like the guy don't have experience in the NFL. But we all would have liked to see Mr. Leftwich get a job, with the Jacksonville Jaguars, is because, that's a team he played for, and that's basically home for him, I want to welcome Mike to the show. What's going on, Mike?
Yo, what's the word?
Not much. Jonathan, what was your reaction to Doug Peterson getting the job over Leftwich?
I wasn't surprised at all. I mean, this is something that isn't new. By now, we should be used to seeing this happen repeatedly. Black coaches are not given the same opportunity that white coaches are given. And I hate to sound like that. I'm not trying to make it a race thing. I'm not trying to play the race card. And I'm definitely not trying to get political. But it is what it is. And the facts are right in front of us. We can't deny that. It's the truth. It's the stone cold truth. And I mean, black coaches get interviews, but they usually don't land the job. They usually don't get the job. And they have to compete and they have to work extra hard, to compete against their white counterparts. And This is the problem with the NFL today, is that there is a lack of black coaches in the NFL. That's very troubling. That's very disturbing. And that's the problem that we have today, is a lack of diversity in the NFL. I'm hearing people, call out the league, saying it's time to boycott the NFL. They're frustrated, they're upset with how it's all going down. It's very, very disturbing, and it's very pathetic and ridiculous, utterly ridiculous, that there's only one black coach currently in the NFL right now. And that guy is Mike Tomlin. We all know who he is. If you put all these coaches on one big poster and put all their images up there, Mike Tomlin sadly will stand out. That's a disgrace to this league. The NFL should be embarrassed. They should be ashamed of themselves for this. I'm speechless, because we live in a different time now. We're not in segregation anymore. Even though there's still discrimination in the workplace, this should not be. This is unacceptable. This is inexcusable. We're in a different time now. We're in 2022, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to wake up. It's time to get real. And it's time to give these people a fair opportunity. Byron Leftwich was qualified for that job. We all saw how hard he has worked and what he has done in Tampa Bay under Bruce Arians and that coaching staff in Tampa. And you mean to tell me that this man can't land the job where he once was the quarterback? That's a problem. That's a serious problem. And you're seeing all these other coaches. You're hearing names that's not even qualified. Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator from the Rams. And I'm not trying to take anything away from these guys, but there are black coaches out there, African American coaches out there, who are well deserving and qualified. And they just characterize us differently from everybody else. They don't want to give us a fair shot, and that's not right. Something has to change. I have a statistic here before I give the floor to someone else. Only once in NFL history has a team replaced a black head coach with another black man. It was back in 2009 when the Indianapolis coach Tony Dungy retired and Jim Caldwell succeeded his role. Since then, we haven't really seen it. Jim Caldwell, he's deserving of a job. There's a number of names that should be given the opportunity, and the Rooney Rule, just get rid of it. If it's not gonna make a difference, what's the point of having it there? What purpose does it serve? Why do you still have the Rooney Rule if it's not helping these guys get the job? But we all know that they're well qualified. That's like any of us. If we go into a workplace, right, we can have all the credentials and the degrees in the world, right? But if a white man walks into the workplace and he gets the interview and he doesn't have a degree or any other credentials, he still gets hired. Why? Because of favoritism and because of his skin color. And it's the truth. And I'm sorry if I offended anyone, but it's facts, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean, this has to change. The NFL has to come up with some kind of policy or a new coaching change or something, because they should be embarrassed in these hiring practices, and there's no excuse for it.
All right, Big Art. What was your reaction from Doug Peterson getting the job?
I mean, it's same old. There's more than, I think there's better coaches than Byron Leftwich that deserved it. Byron Leftwich deserved it because he was a franchise player for them, or was a player for them. You might not want to call him franchise, but he was a player for them and probably could have brought more butts in the seats, and he's a player's coach. But I think Eric Bieniemy, he's been in how many Super Bowls? What, 3 or 4 in the last 3 or 4 years? How's he not got a job? Raheem Morris, he's deserving of a job. He just got picked over for the offensive coordinator. You know, it seemed like if you got anything to do with McVay, I think everybody, hey, we'll hire you if you got anything to do with McVay. I don't care if you're a towel guy, a water boy, whatever, we'll hire you. We want anything McVay. But it's sad. What is there, like 10 job openings? What, like 6 of them got filled? None of them been minority coaches, not even a Hispanic or anything. The Rudy rule is get rid of it. You need to give maybe an incentive, maybe a third round draft pick or something. If you do hire a minority coach, you get something out of it. They're gonna have to fix something. They're gonna have to do something to turn this all around. But I'm with you, man. That's crazy.
All right, Mike. What was your reaction? You muted, my brother.
My bad. It's kind of a piggyback off of the last statement, and it's the whole Rudy rule. Giving a third-round draft pick for giving a minority a shot is bullshit in itself. And that just shows you how much racism is throughout the NFL. When you're growing up, for anybody who has kids or anybody in a situation that has a younger sibling and they don't want to do something, you bribe them with a toy, with some food, with some snacks, with something they don't want to do. Having to bribe a franchise to just give an opportunity to a black man or a man of color or a woman in general, anybody who's a minority, it's bullshit. And that just screams volumes to me of what the Rudy rule is. The Rudy rule, it's to stop racism, but it's not at the same time. It's to put a face up and say we're trying to prevent racism. But at the end of the day, Goodell understands, and we all know what happened with Gruden. It's a business email, and you can read all these emails that are coming through, and you can see all this horrible stuff that's going on. And he is the one that's not taking place and taking action into removing pieces of this system that are bad apples, that are, have racist tendencies and won't, change their ways. So for the Brian Flores situation and the Doug Peterson stuff, I hate Doug. I hope James Conner and Travis Etienne are ready to sit on the bench a lot because they're not going to be running the ball. I hate Doug Peterson as an individual and as a coach. But it's something to me to where Byron Leftwich, to me personally, I wasn't like all in on him being a head coach just yet. I think a lot of it was Brady. I think a lot of it was Arians, and we saw the mistakes that happened with Jameis. He had Jameis throw 5,000 yards. I'll give him that, but he had 30 interceptions. So it's give and take with what that is. But like Jonathan mentioned, Jim Caldwell. I watched Jim Caldwell take the Lions in my Bears division to the playoffs 2 out of the 4 years and had winning records all 4 of those years and still got fired. I watched Lovie Smith get fired on a 10-6 season and then bitch about why Trestman, Fox, Nagy, and now Eberflus, and why aren't they great? You got rid of Lovie on a winning season. Lovie took you to a Super Bowl and you fired him. We got a lot of guys. Eric Bieniemy is my favorite one to mention because, like we mentioned, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl champion. You had a basic rookie in Patrick Mahomes come out and have 50-plus touchdowns and win MVP. You've been to 4 AFC championships. This guy has worked with Andy Reid. He has the resume to be able to get these positions, and he doesn't. And as a white man, ignoring the problem is the problem. And if I were to sit up here and say that Doug Peterson was more than qualified, which he is, he's a Super Bowl champion, but it doesn't take away from how much more qualified these other guys are as well. So to sit up here and say, well, Doug Peterson's qualified, of course he is, but he's not any more qualified than Andy Reid or than anybody that comes from that tree or the Sean McVay tree, and that's Eric Bieniemy, and that's Leftwich, and that's all these other individuals, not McVay and Arians. Those are those individuals who have won Super Bowls. They've done just as much as Doug Peterson, if not more, because they're better coordinators. Doug Peterson, what run game? His number 1 wide receiver in the Super Bowl was Nick Foles. Let's just be real about what that was. You won over a Philly special. Eric Bieniemy, to me, Jim Caldwell, Byron Leftwich are far more deserving of that job. And Nathaniel Hackett, I'll throw his name out there too. Who the hell is Nathaniel Hackett, and why are you the head coach of the Denver Broncos? That to me makes 0 sense either. You were fired by the Jacksonville Jaguars 2 years ago. And that's a shit poverty franchise. So if you were fired from there, what makes you qualified to be the head coach of the Denver Broncos? But I think there's a lot that needs to change. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see it.
All right, Tristan.
Everybody kind of took all the thunder. I agree with everybody. I'll add it. I'll say this though. I definitely have been one advocating for the Rooney Rule to be abolished. All that rule is doing is giving the NFL owners an out, because all you have to do is just bring one in to interview. You don't have to do anything else. You just got to bring them in, and it's just a check. It's a check mark off the list. It's like, all right, cool, we good, we clear, we got one. You know, you never have to really think about it. You never have to really take it seriously to say, well, we really want to give this person an opportunity. And I'm going to say this, and this is probably going to be an unpopular statement, but I'm going to be real honest. I really feel that in the 15 years that he's been a head coach, I really feel that Mike Tomlin dropped the ball when it comes to this. I believe that Mike Tomlin should feel some sense of responsibility to give more minority coaches a chance to, at least, even if you're on his staff, to at least give them the opportunity to be in the room and then eventually branch out, like you have all these other coaches with these coaching trees. Mm-hmm. When you look at Bruce Arians' coaching staff with the Buccaneers, they were all black. The running backs coach, tight ends coach, all of them were black. It was made a big thing that his entire coaching staff was black. And when he was interviewed about that one time, he then asked a question. He said because he believed that some of the greatest minds he dealt with from his time at Temple, from his time at all these other places, were black coaches. So he believed that he wanted to give them the opportunity for them to showcase their skills as coaches so that they can eventually branch out. Mike Tomlin is the one head coach standing in the NFL for 15 years. You are employed by the very franchise whose original owner created that rule for you to have that kind of opportunity. And you being proven have gone to multiple Super Bowls, had won one Super Bowl, and have never had a losing season. I felt like he should have done his due, and this goes into a more societal and political move, because I can hear the questions now. I can hear comments now where they're saying, why always black people gotta be the ones responsible to do all this and make all these moves? Because we historically have not been in a position where we can place our people in these positions. White people have long history. When these owners die in these jobs, and more than likely what happens, their children will get these jobs. When Al Davis died, who got the ownership of the Raiders? It wasn't no grand search. Mark Davis got the ownership of the Raiders. That's what happens. Black people, we unfortunately don't have that history to say, I can pass it down to this generation. So we have to have a responsibility, a sense of responsibility, to put our guys in position so that they can get the chance to get there. And so Mike Tomlin has been there for 15 years, and I think I can only account for maybe one or two black coaches that he's had on his staff. That's not it. So if you can't find the value in it, or if you just worrying about your own stuff, which is fair, but if you're just worrying about your own stuff, then how can we look at all these other franchises and put the mandate on them when they never put anybody in that position in the first place? And Mike just went down the list with the coaches. Jim Caldwell had the Detroit Lions in the playoffs, who ain't sniffed the playoffs in years, and he got fired. And then you bring in what's the guy's name? The former defense coordinator for
Patricia?
the Patriots that came in after him.
Patricia.
What's his name? Patricia.
Not Patricia.
And he completely dismantled everything that Jim Caldwell was building. You had Anthony Lynn, who was the head coach for the Chargers. You brought in Staley to be able to take over, because you said you needed a defensive mind to make your defense to have your defense balance what your offense is doing with Justin Herbert. Your defense was worse than when Anthony Lynn was there, performance-wise. Right. This is the stuff that's happening. But because we don't have the one person, the one representative that has been there, tried and true, speaking out on these things or trying to make something happen, it doesn't really give black coaches a leg to stand on.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
And I wanted to add to Tristan's point, because he makes a good point about Mike Tomlin, not doing enough to kind of defend this whole, agenda or deal or whatever you want to call it. Here's the thing, though, with some of our people, and I'm not going to say all because that would be ignorant, because that's not all of us. But I'll say a good percentage of our people don't look out for each other. That's a big problem in the black community. We all want to compete against each other instead of coming together and working together, and that's why it is the way it is. That's why the system is so broken, because there's so much division among our race. And until we come together as people and unite as one, this is going to be a huge struggle for us, and that's a big problem in the black community. Is everyone wants to, if someone gets to the top, they want to see the other brother fall. And that's always been a huge problem for me, and that's why I think I applaud Brian Flores for what he did. Salute to him, because he had the courage and he sacrificed so much to take a stand by filing his class action lawsuit against the NFL for their hiring practices. So I applaud him for that. And anyone who thinks otherwise of him is just ignorant and don't want to face the facts, or they're uneducated on this whole thing. I was listening to the clown earlier, the idiot, Jason Whitlock, and he called him a snitch. He's not a snitch. What he did was courageous, because he stood up for the minorities that's not getting the same opportunity.
He kind of a snitch.
I don't want to use.
You can't take 100,000 and then be quiet, and then when something don't go your way, you tell on somebody. That is a snitch.
Did he take the money, though?
You was with it when it was good for you.
He
didn't take the money.
He didn't take the money, though. He said he couldn't do that. So I respect him for that, too.
He didn't take the money, though.
Brian Flores said he said no. He didn't do it.
Yeah, he said no. He didn't take the money. So
he didn't take the money when they say he lost the game?
No.
I don't believe that one.
No, I don't think he took the money. When you watch that season specifically,
yeah,
you knew it was a dissension taking place when they all of a sudden tried to remove Fitzpatrick,
right,
and put in Tua. And when they asked Brian Flores why that happened, he didn't really have a good explanation. Like, I think they just kind of forced his hand to make that move. I really don't think that was his intent. And even then, when you watch his play calling, when they did put Tua in, he really tried his best to kind of cover him and not make him do much. So just trying to run the ball more and things like that, and give him easy throws. So I really don't think Flores was trying to.
But when it happened, you should have said something right then and there. If you wait,
I agree. Yeah,
something ain't right.
I get what you're saying, and I do agree that
I get what Art is saying.
With Flores, I didn't like that it took him 3 years to come out with that. I think that's something that needs to come out right away. I think you were just holding that in your back pocket. But my thing is, I don't think he took the money because his coaching career would be over if the Miami Dolphins said, well, we did offer him that, and he took it. Like, he would definitely never be coached again. He would be sued because that's illegal, first of all. So I don't think he would have brought that point up if he took the money. Now, that's something he would have kept quiet, and the Miami Dolphins would have kept quiet. The only reason I think he brought it up is because it was one-sided. He didn't take it, and they offered it.
Yep.
That'd be like if I sold drugs and Freddie bought them, and I was like, "Hey, Freddie bought drugs." Well, I sold the shit, so I mean, I'm in trouble too. So
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but who was the other coach that broke his silence? Some other coach came out.
Hugh Jackson.
There you go.
Hugh Jackson said Haslam, but Hugh Jackson talked. Hugh Jackson sounded like he took it.
He probably did.
Because the Browns was terrible. He was terrible.
I mean, you're going to lose those games anyway.
Just like how you guys are saying how African Americans, minorities don't help each other, I was going to bring up the same point. I forgot his name, but the Chicago Bulls' new general manager, he is with the Chiefs. He had relationships with Eric Bieniemy. He had relationships. He built that.
Are you talking about my boy Ryan? Yeah.
Yes, Ryan. Ryan Poole.
A lot of people were disappointed in Ryan.
Yeah,
so one of the stories I was out there was saying that Andy Reid, when Ryan went there, Andy Reid told him to do whatever he could to try to get Eric Bieniemy to at least get a legitimate interview with Chicago, and it never transpired. People were really disappointed.
That's what I'm saying. That goes back to my point.
Yeah, that's just sad.
It's really sad.
But let's face it. All employers are like this. It's not just the NFL. It's not just the NFL owners. It's the whole entire United States.
I will say this though. I will say this in defense of my boy Ryan. We had just taken Nagy from the Reed tree. If we would have took Bieniemy from the Reed tree and it didn't work out again, Chicago and as a whole would burn down Kansas City. And I think we would have never trusted any GM ever again. So I kind of get not going back-to-back coordinators of Andy Reid because that's a bad look.
Yeah,
who they go with? They pick a coach yet?
Yeah, we got a defensive coordinator from the Colts.
From the Colts.
Really good guy. I mean, the guy.
Yeah, but still, Mike, at the end of the day, when you put up resumes, his resume don't match up at all.
Aaron Rodgers, quarterback coach for like the last 5 years. So I mean, we kind of, I don't know. It depends how you look at it. I truly think, Chicago is a bad example because Chicago's always been a defensive heavy, area, and they're not going to really go with the offensive heavy guys because that's just not who they are at the end of the day. So I would have personally, I wanted Bieniemy, I wanted Caldwell or Bieniemy, and Brian Dable. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I understand that's the history of the team. So they're not really gonna, it's running the football and defense, and they're not going to change from that.
But you don't think that's a disservice to Justin Fields, as dynamic as he could potentially be?
Oh no, it definitely is.
There you go, Tristan.
I've been preaching that to the choir for a very long time that we need an offensive minded coach. I've been saying it. Freddie knows, Jonathan knows. That's my biggest thing, and I just understand at the end of the day, the family of this team, man, they want to continue doing what the father built, which was defense and running the football. And it's unfortunate because that's exactly why we haven't been to the Super Bowl since. So it's really upsetting. But I definitely understand where Poles was coming from with that, because I mean we just had 5 years of Matt Nagy supposedly being an amazing guy from Kansas City to go back to back. I mean, it just kind of set yourself up.
Let me ask you guys this. How many teams is left that has vacancies?
I think 2 or 3.
Miami, I think, is the only
Miami
one.
and New Orleans.
Miami and New Orleans?
Yeah.
I can't see Eric Bieniemy go to New Orleans. I can. But I will not be surprised if he get blackballed from that situation as well.
I think it's a blackball if he goes to the Saints, because the Saints don't have any money. They have no draft picks. They're going to have to blow it up. It would make Eric look bad. So if I was Eric, I wouldn't even go.
Look, here's the thing. We have all these brilliant coordinators of color, but they can't get a head coaching job. That doesn't sit well with me. It just doesn't.
Right. But the Saints job, everybody's looking at that Saints job as temporary anyway. Because
it's bad.
Sean Payton still got 3 more years on his contract. He just might be taking a little break. And then what's to say if he want to come back? He may want to go back there. That's what he know.
Right.
I don't see him coming back.
I actually do. I can't see someone like Sean Payton with the job that he's done over the last couple of years with what he's had to deal with at post Drew Brees, for him to kind of sail off into the sunset on that kind of merit. I honestly feel
if he go anywhere, he's going to Cowboys. Believe that.
Yeah.
You're not a Cowboy fan, are you, Art?
No, I'm a Rams fan.
All righty. Yeah, I got 3 Rams on here, boy. That's what I'm talking
Yeah, all
about.
right. If that's what you want to say, Freddie.
Hey, I am no longer a New York Giants fan after that BS. So I'm a Rams fan. I'm at home.
Yeah,
I'm home.
All right.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
Bullshit.
let's get this show a little popping. We've been, on a touchy situation. Start off the show. Let's head up to the NBA. There's a trade today between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Portland Trailblazers. The Clippers are trading. They traded Eric Bledsoe, Justin Winslow, Keon Johnson, and a future second-round pick to the Trailblazers for Norman Powell and Robert Covington. And by the way, that draft pick is a 2025 second-round draft pick via Detroit. Jonathan, who won the trade?
Man, you know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna tell it like it is. The Clippers won the trade.
Oh, I was about to say.
They got Norman Paul. Come on. Norman brings the energy. Norman was a good fit in Portland for the time being when he got traded from his previous team. So I mean, you're getting an upgrade here. And you're getting Robert.
Covington.
Yeah, there
Covington.
you go. There you go. You're getting a good package deal here for Eric Bledsoe and Justice Winslow. It's a good trade. Clippers clearly won, but I don't know how far it's really going to take them if Kawhi Leonard is not healthy. If Kawhi Leonard is not healthy, it's really not going to do much for this Clippers team. I mean, it makes them look pretty. I will say that. I mean, it was a sexy trade, but I don't think this is the trade that's going to get them over the hump. I just don't see that happening, but I do think they are winners in this blockbuster move of theirs.
Kawhi doing the same thing he did to the Spurs.
You think so?
Load management.
Same thing.
Yep.
He ready to go?
You know
Trade
what?
me Westbrook right now.
You know what? You know what my case scenario is, y'all? When they all retire, they all will go on the little Jimmy Kimmel show. Him and PG. They gonna sit down and they gonna say, you know what? We should have went to the Lakers and teamed up with LeBron and AD. They gonna say that, bro. Cause they gonna wish they would have got a champion.
Kawhi ain't gonna say, but Paul George probably will.
They gonna wish they would have got a championship. Cause that's
Kawhi ain't even gonna be on the damn show. He a little weirdo.
PG
George,
didn't have
Paul
a choice though. PG got traded. He didn't have a choice.
He had a choice
Kawhi
that he left
did.
Oklahoma City.
He had a choice. If he had endorsed anyhow he endorsed and said that he would like to play for the Lakers, that move would have been made. The fact that he wanted to go with Kawhi because he did not want to play with LeBron. Him and Kawhi had this thing where they're like, no, we can do this without LeBron. Okay. And so now you went over there and then Mr. Low Management bailed on you.
Exactly.
So,
But yeah, this was a good trade. I think Portland wanted to clear the books while they moved this, why they did this, why they pursued this trade.
I think they're about to get rid of one of the big guys.
Yeah, I think that was their motivation. It appeared to be financial more than anything.
Right. Stop trolling in the comments. You being a troll.
And you know what? The deal moved them underneath the luxury tax, so that's why they made this move. But I think it makes the Clippers more interesting. I would say.
I don't know about that, Jonathan, because right now they have the highest payroll in the NBA.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So, Ballmer's willing to spend that money.
He's going to spend bread.
And what is Paul averaging? He's averaging 18.7 points.
Nah, he's having an MVP season before.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't have no MVP
I'm looking at his.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Are you kidding,
I
bro?
don't know why people put Paul George on this thing. Listen, Paul George is a very, 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 very good player. Paul George is not the superstar everybody try to make Paul George to be.
24 points is not MVP numbers.
He ain't that.
Stop.
Paul George, when he was with the Pacers, it's the same. It's like the Dwight Howard syndrome. It's a big fish in a small pond. And everybody looked at Paul George when he was in the Pacers and they're like, oh, he the LeBron killer. Oh, he da. Paul George is a very, 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 very good player. He's not a superstar. And we keep trying to push him into this superstar MVP realm. He can't last the whole season and keep up with it.
And Tristan, maybe that's another reason why the Clippers decided to make this move too. Maybe that was their motivation too, to add some depth, because they know these guys can't stay healthy, and this can take some of the load off of their bodies by bringing in a guy like Paul, who can help.
No, John. I'm just stuck on the fact that Mike said that Paul George.
You know what's crazy, Freddie? You know what's crazy, Freddie? You're gonna sit on your high horse. Nah, bro. You're gonna sit. So then, that's cool.
MVP.
That's cool. So Jonathan, I want you to do me a favor really quick.
What's up?
Ask Freddie how many points that Ja's averaging, because it's only 2 more than PG. So what's the difference?
What?
Ja is closing
Ja
the game.
Morant?
Yeah, Ja is finishing.
Ja Morant is closing the
Don't
games
put Ja
out.
Morant and Paul George in the same sentence.
I ain't putting them in the same conversation, but we're going to sit up here and act like PG wasn't having a great season before he went down.
That's
This
different.
is a
than
good
Ja
season,
Morant
but not no MVP season.
Freddie, we can't.
So
but if
he
you're
was
a
top
Lakers fan,
5.
Freddie, you
I
can't
don't even
say-
like PG, bro. I don't
Freddie.
even like PG, but he was top 5 in MVP candidates.
Does
No,
he
he
make a
was
difference in
never.
the win-loss column for the Clippers?
Ask me answer this right now, Tristan. If PG's not on that team, where's that Clippers team at right now without Kawhi?
In the lottery.
Exactly. So where are they at right now? Top 5 in the West, right?
Yeah,
No.
but
They
you're
ain't above
missing
the
a
They
point,
ain't above
Mike.
the
He
Grizzlies.
can't close games.
Hey, who's got a better record right now,
He can't
though?
stay
PG
healthy.
and the Clippers or LeBron and the Lakers? I'm asking for a friend.
No,
The
but no,
Clippers
you
with-
compare
without
Clippers
Ja
have a
Morant.
PG.
better
Oh, it's
record.
on with you, Mike. Who's your team, Mike?
Clippers have a better
I'm with the Bulls, baby.
Hey,
Oh,
You
one
compare Ja
season.
Morant and the
No,
Grizzlies.
okay.
hey,
But
hey,
see,
hey.
here's the thing with
Let
the
me
Lakers.
answer that.
though.
Hold on,
The
John. Let me answer
Lakers,
that
they don't
question.
have. But the
Hold on,
Lakers
John,
don't
let
have
me answer that
a. But they
question.
don't have a true clutch performer.
The
Oh.
Clippers without Paul George and Kawhi have a better record than the Lakers. Paul George haven't played over in a month and a half now.
Okay, what's your
Ugh.
point?
So
He
I
can
mean,
never
we're gonna get it.
sustain a season. He
Paul
either gets
George
hurt
was a terrible
or he goes
investment
into
for
a
the
slump.
Clippers.
He
It
can't. He
never
can't. But if
sustains.
we're
He
gonna
was a
talk about that,
terrible
well,
investment for the Clippers, and now I'm pretty sure the Clippers regret ever signing him.
I think it was
And
a good
all those
investment.
trades, all those
Yeah.
picks that they lost.
Yeah,
The
I
Clippers
think
are
you just
going
have
to
to
be
look at
irrelevant
it
for
for
like
what
the
they
next
gave
4 or
up.
5 years.
Yep.
Man, listen, bro. We're talking about a player who shrinks in the big moments when things get tight, and we're gonna really sit here and say this dude was an MVP over John Moran, over
I
Kevin
didn't say it was
Durant,
over any of those
Steph
guys.
Curry
though.
at the
But I
time
didn't
doing what
say
he's
that.
doing.
See,
I
you
mean,
put words in people's
Mike,
mouths, bro.
Mike
now.
must have forgotten that this is the same team that pulled off the biggest choke job, one of the biggest choke jobs in NBA history.
In
Oh,
NBA
they
history.
definitely did.
So let's not sit here and try to make it seem like Paul George is that dude. But Big Art,
But here's the fact, though, Freddie, is what I'm saying. Before he went down, he was in the candidacy of top 5 MVPs.
I've never
That's a
heard that.
fact.
I've
You
never
can
heard that
stick.
this year. Has anybody heard?
You know
Paul
why you don't
George
hear it,
being a
bro?
top 5
Hey,
MVP?
Tristan,
What channel was you watching on that one?
Tristan,
Are you
you
thinking
know
of
why
PG
he wasn't
from like
hearing
2
it?
years ago?
Because early on in the season, bro, Freddie was hiding. He said Michael Jordan was better than LeBron James.
But what is this
He
conversation
said-
to do with Paul
He said
George?
this and this. He didn't
What
give a
is this
shit about
conversation to do
basketball.
with Paul George?
Oh,
We're
yeah,
talking about two
right.
different things.
Yeah,
Michael
talking about
Jordan
two
is
different
better
things
than
right now.
LeBron.
You see, this is what Mike do when he's trapped in a
Nah,
corner.
bro.
He want to bring someone else up.
Because at the beginning of the season,
I mean,
your ass was
There was
quiet.
Paul
You
George
didn't have
nowhere in
nothing
this
to say,
season
bro.
was a part of the MVP conversation. You had Steph Curry, he's a part of it. You have Kevin Durant, he was a part of it. You had Ja, he was a part of it. Hell, he was saying Zach LaVine was a part of it. I mean,
And LeBron.
there's no point in this season Paul George.
Jokic.
Embiid.
You've had Jokic, so Paul George is never
Jokic.
Giannis too.
PG wasn't even top
Giannis.
15.
Bro, you're tweaking. But hey, if you want to live in the moment and forget the past, that's cool, bro. Like
I mean, maybe you had him
PG
as part
wasn't
of
even
your
top
MVP,
15.
but
No,
nobody else
we
did.
just saying you. We just saying you the only person that we ever heard say that.
Bro, I promise you can look it up.
Now, if you're talking about Paul George 2 years ago, I'd have been with you.
I'm telling you.
Not even in, but okay.
No, he was on. No, I
No, when he was at OKC, he had an MVP season.
The same guy who went cold a couple years ago when the Clippers choked in the playoffs.
He go cold
during
on
regular
every
season, he was
playoff.
cold, though. We talking about the MVP for the regular season. He was cold. He was
been cold since the Pacers.
Yeah.
He don't heat up.
He don't.
Nah, it's bad, bro.
I'm
He's
just
a
saying.
pretty good
I'm not saying
defender,
he's had
though.
a
I
bad
will give him
season.
that. He does.
Nah,
He's a
I'm
good
just saying
two-way
here,
player.
When he wants to defend, he's good.
Yeah, he doesn't do it consistently enough anymore, though.
Right.
Big R, who won the trade, man?
I'm going with the Clippers. But then again, if Portland moves one of their big guys, if this is a setup to move Lillard or McCollum, then let me see who they get for one of them, and then I might change my mind. But right now, I believe the Clippers.
All right, Mike.
For what they're trying to do, I'm gonna say Portland because I don't think this makes the Clippers an easy favorite in the West. I don't think this makes them. It makes them better, but it's not that clear cut move that's like, oh yeah, this is exactly what we needed. I think they're good pieces. I'm gonna give Covington his roses, and I'm gonna say that I'm hoping this is a resurgence for him because if I went to Minnesota, Houston, and then Portland, I would play like shit too. But it's definitely something to where now you're in LA, you have no excuse. You're with PG. Kawhi's going to be coming back. You know, you have to start to perform better. If you don't, it's kind of the end of his career because he's really been taking a step back the last few seasons. He's not that guy he once was. It's unfortunate because I like Covington a lot. But it's something to where with Powell, it's a really good move. But I think, you know, Portland wins it because this is exactly what they're trying to do is just get these 1-year deals and get these rentals and get everybody off the books. Now, I think it's 50-50, however you look at it. I think, like they said previously, it really comes down to what they're doing with Nurkic and then Dame. But I think at the end of the day, I don't see Dame moving. I see them moving CJ and I see them moving Nurk. But I for whatever reason they want to hold on to Dame, I'll never understand. I love Dame, but you know the man wants out. You seen him play? No, but I'm saying you know the man wants out, and you know you're in no position to win now. So the man's over 30 years of age. Free that man. You know what I mean? Like it's a respect thing.
The fans still buy tickets to watch Dame.
Yeah,
the arena
at the end of the
day,
day,
they trade him.
Right. And at the end of the day, though, as a franchise, you can go watch Bradley Beal, but we all know at the end of the day what Bradley Beal is going to do in Washington isn't a lick of shit. So, I mean, it's just what you have to look at.
Hey, hold on. Ain't they in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. What happened?
They ain't in the playoffs. They in the top 10?
And what happened?
Did they fall out? I must have missed it.
How'd that go for you?
The Wizards.
How'd it go? How did Russ and Beal go? How'd that go?
No, I'm talking about right now, this year.
Oh, your number 2 is Kyle Kuzma, right? Don't talk to me, bro.
No, I'm saying they're a playoff team.
If that's what you want to call them, sure. But everybody's got to get in at one point.
They're right now in the 11th seed.
11? Yeah, no. Oh, okay. They're out. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not selling that, bro. I'm sorry. But I had high hopes for him, but Beal's selling the bag. And here's my thing. Dame, before he went down, wasn't looking too good either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't think that's a shot at Dame's performance. I think that's Dame just kind of showing, like, I don't want to be here. And I don't blame him. I think he deserves a shot somewhere else. And if you can get first-round picks for someone like that, I would do it too because he's going to be a free agent eventually anyways, and he's going to be on his way out.
Hey, but Dame got to hold some accountability on this because Dame the one that be coming out there like he's Braveheart talking about something he ain't going nowhere. And he's sticking it out.
Oh, no, that's on Dame, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't have signed the contract if you didn't want to be there in the first place. But it comes down to it. If you're moving everyone but Dame, you got to move Dame. There's no reason to keep him there. You might as well get as many picks as you – look at what OKC did. They didn't want to move Russ, but they moved Russ.
Come to the Lake Show, Dame. Come to the Lake Show.
Hey, you know what? We'll trade. You know what? We'll trade Westbrook straight up for Dame. Straight up.
Straight across.
But that's not happening. That's not happening. So keep dreaming, Freddie, because I'm going to tell you something. Portland is not going to help the Lakers in any way. By doing that, they would help the Lakers. You think they're that crazy? You think that front office is that crazy to make that kind of trade? Nah, and then they don't want Westbrook because that would be going backwards for them.
Jonathan, let me and Freddie dream, dog. Let us dream.
I'm a Lakers fan.
You'll dream with us. Hey, Tristan, who won the trade?
Oh yeah, without question, it's the Clippers, man. And it's not saying much, but if you had to pick it, like it's basically picking the lesser of two evils with this trade. Like it's the Clippers. Like the Trailblazers, man, they are a ship without a compass. Like they don't know what they want to do. They do have a disgruntled Dame Lillard, a legitimate disgruntled superstar, one of the better closers in the NBA. You know, and they haven't been able to piece anything together around him in order to make them be contenders. And at some point, you know, just like Mike said, you know, even though I was messing with him, but he's right though. At some point, you got to make the decision. Like, all right, Dame, we're gonna trade you. Like, you have to make that decision at some point because as a franchise, you're locking this guy in, but you're not doing anything that's going to benefit or help the situation. And it is the same thing like with the Wizards and Beal. At some point, you got to trade your best piece in order to start over and gain some assets back and see if you can start this over and try to figure out how to build this thing from the ground up. But you're holding on to that one big piece and nothing else is transpiring. With the Clippers, I definitely feel that they wanted to get out of the Eric Bledsoe contract. They definitely wanted to get out of that. They so I wasn't surprised when this trade went down, but the Clippers are going to have to make the same kind of decision because Kawhi is not returning this season. I want anyone that's a Clippers fan, the 50 of y'all that are Clippers fans out there, understand that Kawhi is not coming back this season. So y'all need to make a decision on Kawhi's contract.
Is that I'm just curious. Is that confirmed that he's not coming back?
It's not confirmed, but I mean, it's just
in the DNA.
When a guy kind of shows a pattern, he got a pattern. Like
I was just curious because I mean it would be over a year since the injury. And if they were to get into the playoffs and Powell and Covington has a resurgence and PG's healthy, I mean, that's a bad look if Kawhi don't come back.
Yeah. But I mean, but he's right on.
He don't care about no looks. He don't care about that.
This is who he is now.
It's who he's been. He did the same thing with the Spurs. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So, and that's why the Spurs are where they are right now because they originally built themselves around Kawhi, and then when Kawhi pulled it, they had to figure it out. They're like, oh shoot, we ain't got no legit superstar. Timmy out, Ginobili out. Right. Who we got?
Right. And they're still trying to figure that out.
Still. So
man,
that's what he does.
Yep.
Yeah, he bows out when the going gets tough, or when he's not happy with his situation.
You know what? I gotta do this. We only spent 10 minutes on this topic, so we're not gonna. We only got 10 minutes left for this show. I gotta do it. I didn't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it. We have seen Anthony Davis since he's been back. He's looked dominant. He's been dominated. He's averaging first game back 32-15, I believe, and 4 blocks. We had a game where he scored 27 and 12. Last night he went 30 and 17. He's been looking dominant. If he plays like this, and LeBron come back and he do what he do, can the Lakers save?
Don't ask the question, Freddie.
Chip, yes.
What'd you say?
Yes, they get the chip. Yes.
Whoa, you going that far?
No.
Yes.
Hey, Freddie,
I'm riding with the vets. Yes.
Mute him.
Mute you. Who your team?
Listen, don't give. Listen, I'm a Lakers fan. I ain't got no. Listen, if LeBron comes back,
a Lakers fan ain't got no hope.
Listen.
I don't have no hope either.
Listen. You want to know why? You want to know why I could be like this? Oh, all right. You want to know why I could be like this?
I'm keeping.
You know why I could be like this? Because I'm a Washington fan. So I've learned to be a realist when it comes to teams. Okay.
Right.
I've learned. This is why I could be like this. If LeBron comes back, the way AD's been playing, now I'll give AD credit because I've been a hard critic on AD. I'll give him credit. He's been on a tear for the last 4 or 5 games since he's returned. So I give him credit for that. But when LeBron comes back, they will probably have a deeper run in the playoffs, they ain't getting no championship though. It's not in
Nope.
the card.
Nope.
Who gonna stop us? Who gonna stop us? The
There's
Warriors?
plenty of teams in the West that could stop it.
Plenty of teams in the West.
I don't think so. They're not ready.
Are we forgetting about Phoenix? Phoenix got 2 MVP candidates. Phoenix got 2.
Is Phoenix forgetting about when Anthony Davis is healthy that he dropped a 40-piece nugget and beat him by himself?
Phoenix ain't got no
still
skill.
forgetting that you
Are we-
lost that series?
Are we
Freddie.
forgetting about the Denver Nuggets too?
And that you owe
They
me
ain't got no
$25
chip
still, sir?
They blew.
Freddie.
They embarrassed them the last time they played.
Great. I told you I
We
gave
ain't worried
Anthony
about
Davis a
that. We
nickname.
worried about postseason.
I told you I gave Anthony Davis a nickname. I call him 4 to 6 because anytime he get hurt, he about 4 to 6 weeks he gonna be out. So we just waiting to see where when the next
He's
injury
healthy
coming.
right
Oh,
now.
you know, Tristan, that's very kind of you because I call him shattered glass.
I'm just
And you
saying,
know, and you know what?
I mean, he's not the
I
only
feel like
player
the
in the
Lakers are
NBA
always
man in this
picking up
time,
broken
bro.
pieces on their hardwood floor. They
anytime
always
you get
picking
hurt,
up some little
it's
shattered.
guaranteed
Saying,
4 to
you
6
you
minimum.
wanna
4 to 6
nitpick at
weeks.
Kawhi, but we ain't gonna talk about the same thing about Anthony Davis.
No,
being
because,
out.
it's because we
So Freddie,
we
so Freddie-
overdo it when it comes to AD, but we don't never mention anything about
So
Kawhi
Freddie,
or these other
Wild-
Oh, I
players.
got
Freddie,
Kawhi.
Fans
Freddie,
don't believe in
I'm
the
gonna say
team.
this. I'm gonna say this.
Kawhi
Wild-
tore his
I'm a
ACL and
realistic
you're
Wait,
fan.
guys.
blaming him.
I
I'm
want to say something.
realistic.
So while Anthony Davis's eye-popping stat line is the way
It
it
looks
is, you still have to have your concerns because this guy has shown us time and time again that he can't stay healthy for 82
Okay, let me
games.
rephrase the question. Him staying healthy, him dominating like this, there's nobody in the West that can beat us. Nobody. And I'm gonna tell you why. I've seen him in the regular season by himself.
Freddie, he's gonna get freaking hurt.
And drop a
That's my point.
40-piece
He
nugget
always
without
does.
LeBron James.
And
Let's
then,
not forget-
and then,
hold on, Jonathan.
okay, if we have a
Hold on,
repeat of
Jonathan.
last year,
Hold on, my brother.
Freddie,
You
if
gotta
we have a
realize-
repeat of last year,
Jonathan, hold on. You got to
what
realize
happened last
when
year.
they beat us in the playoffs last year, LeBron nor AD was healthy. But when
I
they
get
are
it, but
healthy,
you're not letting
they
me
are
say my
unbeaten in the playoffs.
You're not letting me say my point because it's so damn predictable. We all know what's gonna happen to AD down the stretch. He's gonna get hurt.
He
He's
can't last.
gonna be out on the
I
sideline.
said if he's healthy,
Wearing his fresh J's once again on the sideline.
you can't.
Throwing up to the
Well,
Jonathan,
let's say he stay healthy. He
dressing
stay
in
healthy.
Jonathan,
They
can you
get
hear
a
what I
chip.
said?
designer brand. What's up?
Can you hear
If
what
he
I
stay
said?
healthy,
I
then
said
they
if
get a
he's
chip.
healthy.
I don't know. I still
Hell
think
no.
I still think
Man, we gotta
I
take
still-
that Lakers fan
no.
card.
You wanna know
Look,
why?
Y'all ain't no
look.
Lakers fan. Y'all some fakers.
Jonathan's a
No.
Warriors
You
fan.
wanna know
look.
why? You wanna
Oh
know why
my
they didn't get a
God.
chip even with them healthy?
I don't, look,
Russell Westbrook is still on the floor.
look, let me I want to say
Hey,
this, guys.
Hey,
even
Jonathan,
if
Tristan,
one
let me
player
ask you
gets
this.
because you guys are
How
not
LeBron can cover that up.
How far do you see him making it?
LeBron couldn't cover it
First
up
round,
this
second
whole year.
round, play-in? How
First round.
far?
First round.
No.
yeah,
If
I'll
they're
say
healthy,
first round.
if they're healthy, they'll get to the second round. If they're
I'll
healthy,
say
they'll
first.
get to the
I'll
second
say
round.
first or second.
I bet they make it further than Chicago Bulls.
I bet you.
I'll
I'll bet
say
you
first or
$100
I
second.
bet
right
they
here
make
they
it further
don't.
than the
Look,
Bulls.
Look,
I bet you they don't.
Well, the
let
Bulls
me.
don't
Hey,
have
that's
they do,
crazy
right?
talk. That's crazy talk because we still
No,
in
that's
first
real
place.
talk. Y'all ain't getting nothing.
Who's in
Won a
first
couple
place?
regular season
Who's in
games. Y'all
first
ain't made no
place?
playoffs.
Guys,
Who's in
Check
first
out
place?
Lonzo Ball.
Hey, what
No.
you do in the playoffs? Get bounced.
Come on. We win chip. When the last time y'all won a chip?
Oh, you want to
It's
trip
Michael
Disney
Jeffrey
World, right?
Jordan.
Lakers ain't win no chip.
my God.
Y'all ain't
In
won no
Disney
chip
World,
since
right?
the 90s.
In Disney
You might
World,
not
right?
want to talk. Y'all ain't won since the 90s.
Bulls
Hey.
fans just get relevant and want to talk all that talk. Been
Bulls,
in
they
the
crazy.
Hey,
been in
Freddie,
that basement
hold on.
for years.
Freddie, weren't you
Been
just saying that Michael
for
Jordan?
years on and just now
Yeah,
want to
keep
start
talking over me, bro.
because they
Keep talking
just
over
got
me, bro.
relevant.
Because you don't want me to say it. You said Michael Jordan's better than LeBron 4 weeks ago. But
Just
go ahead,
got
hop off
relevant.
the train.
Been this
Hop off the
relevant
train,
since
bro.
Michael Jordan.
Mikey
That's
Freddie,
why they
Mikey
hold
Freddie.
on
I want to
to
make a point
Derrick
real quick.
Rose so much because they
Yeah,
never
all right,
been
bro.
relevant.
Yeah, all
They
right,
was
bro.
praying
Hey,
that man
don't be a
took them
Rams
to the
fan,
level.
bro.
But guess
Get your
what?
little
He didn't
bandwagon
do it.
ass.
Mike,
Get your little bandwagon ass and take that shit somewhere else.
Mikey
There ain't no
Freddie. Mikey
bandwagon over
Freddie.
here. I've been a Laker fan since I came out the
Oh,
womb.
all right, Rams fan. Go get that
Mikey
Rams jersey.
Freddie. I
Hey,
wanna make a
Mike,
point
you
real
might need to
quick.
get another team in Chicago because Chicago's don't look like they win nothing over there.
Oh, that's crazy coming from the bottom, though, right?
No, we in the Super Bowl, buddy.
Hey, you want me to
We in the
add
Super Bowl, buddy.
You want me to add
Y'all
Devin
keep
Booker
on
to this
finding new
stat?
coaches because y'all can't win nothing.
Oh, but wait, didn't you lose in the Super Bowl like 3 years ago?
But we in it now. Where your team? We whooped your team, and we in
you
the
in
Super Bowl. What are
Weren't
you
you in
talking
it last
about?
time though? What you want, a participation trophy?
When?
Well,
Y'all don't even get to the playoffs.
We went. Yeah, guess what? You can go to a girl.
You don't even get to the playoffs.
Oh yeah, hey, that's okay, bro. Because at least we ain't losing, bro.
We in the Super Bowl right now, baby.
Oh, but what happens if you lose again, bro?
It don't matter. We there. Y'all can't even get there.
I mean, it do matter though. Well, it do matter.
Hey, for the record,
Hey, Mike, I love you, Mike. I swear to God, I love you.
Nah, you don't.
Look, fellas, I want to say something real quick. Why the Lakers will lose in the second or first round? Why they will suffer this early playoff exit? And here's why.
Russell Westbrook.
You got two teams, yeah, him too, but you got two teams that they'll have to face in the Western Conference: the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. Okay, they're not getting past both of those teams. You know why?
We just gonna
because
forget,
the Warriors and the Suns have a better bench than the Lakers.
What if they face each other?
In
They
the
get rid of each other.
In the
You know what? Hey, I'm just doing. Hey,
you look at the Phoenix Suns roster. They have guys that can score. They
got shooters.
They have Bridges.
You think they
have
get past
a number of
Denver?
names
You think they can get past Denver?
What?
You think they can get past
Denver?
I think
They got embarrassed by Denver.
you
Denver demoralized them.
You have to see how
And then
Jamal
everybody
Murray
was
looks
talking
first.
about Frank
I
Vogel
was about
needing
to
be
say.
fired.
hey, you guys, we didn't got on the time. Hey, Big R, what you about to do, man? We got fast break right next, talking nothing but NBA. You know what you doing?
I'm here.
I'm gonna send you the link. Hey, we about to go in there talk some NBA over there, man. Hey, you just tune in, man. It's gonna get hot. I promise you that, man. This is another episode of Just Say the Truth. Want to thank each one of you guys for coming on tonight. You just catch us on fast break in the next 30 seconds. What's up, Jonathan?
Before we go, I gotta point this out real quick. Adam Gase has been discussed as potential OC for the Patriots.
All right, you guys have a great night because that's blasphemy right there. But you guys have a great night.
Jonathan
Mike,
just cursed at me when he said his name. Cursed at me.
Mike, stand up.
I'm leaving, bro.
Love you, Mike.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.